Welcome to another OdooSME video. My name is Matt Ojo-Bello. Today I'm going to show you how to manage multiple currencies in Odoo. Basically, Odoo ships with virtually all the currencies in the world. And the whole idea is you can buy and sell in any currency. One other good thing about it is that you can actually transact in these various currencies at any time of the day. Meaning, for example, that if you want to change the exchange rates a number of times on the same day, because the rates are frequently changing, this is in fact very possible in OdooSME, and one of one of the main strengths of OdooSME. So let's just jump right inside it. It is assumed that you have already installed the accounting module, and because that's where you find the multiple exchange rate or multi-currencies, as we call them. So I'll just go to the accounting module, and then you're welcome to a nice looking dashboard. As you can see, the default currency is US dollars, and I can easily either change that to my company currency or just set up additional exchange rates that can be managed. The place to start will be from your configuration. So you go to configuration and then you click on settings. Right, so I'm in this environment and you will see a field that says default company currency, which means that the company that you have set up will use this currency as its default currency for transactions. Now, even if transactions are carried out in other currencies, when your journals are generated, they will be translated, converted into this default company currency. If I click this quickly, you will find that there are two currencies. Why? Because these, even though we have several currencies, maybe almost 200 of those currencies in the system, there are only two currencies that are active presently. So if you do transactions in just a few currencies, you want to enable only those currencies in this particular field. And the way to do that, the way to get into your various currencies, is to first enable multi-currency. It has not been enabled yet, so I'm just going to go straight away and then click on that button. And you will notice that as soon as I do that, a new field appears here, the rate difference journal. If I unclick or uncheck again, that field disappears. So let me click it because we want to set additional currencies. Now what this field does is it's basically asking us what is the account that the exchange difference on a transaction will be posted into. In this case, a default exchange difference account has already been created. Okay, so that means that if I post transactions, whether I buy or sell or lodge money in the bank or get paid and all that, if there is an exchange difference on any transaction, then it will be posted to this account. So let's assume that I'm happy with that particular account. If you're not, if it's a different account, you can always click here, search for the account and set it appropriately. So I'm just going to accept that default rate difference journal, or what we call the exchange difference account, and then I go right up here and I click apply. What I'm doing now is that I'm activating the multi-currency feature of OdooSME. Now, having done that, I should be able to go to configuration and see something here about multi-currency. It wasn't there until I had allowed multiple currencies. So let's go right into these currencies and see what we have. And like I said, there are almost 200 of them. So indeed, we have 173 currencies here. Virtually all the currencies of the world will be listed. And if they are not, we can always create one. But I can assure you that you'll find virtually every currency in this particular list. Now, let's say, for example, that I want to look at the USD, which was there by default, and then I call it up. So you can see that the USD is actually active. Okay, what about the euro? The euro symbol is EUR. And I click on that. The euro is also active. Now, this is the reason why I am able to see those two currencies in the previous screen I showed you under configuration. Now, what about if I checked for Nigerian Naira, which should be NGN, for example? That currency exists, but it is not active. Now, for me, in this demo, let me just assume that the default company currency is the Naira, and that I only need to do transactions in the in dollars and in Naira, and I'm not interested in euro for now. So the first thing to do is to activate the Naira currency. So, and the way to do that is to open this up in the form view. Just click on that and then set it in edit mode, and then click that box to say it is active. Okay, so that's the first thing to do. So by just checking that box, then this currency is made active. The other thing you'll find out is that Odoo allows me to set the place or position of the currency symbol. For example, by default, it says that this symbol, the Naira, will appear after the amount, but that's not the case. In Nigeria, the Naira symbol is usually before the amount, so I can change that. So I click in this field and I say before amount, and that's all I need to do here. I'm not setting the exchange rate yet. I am just making this currency active, remember. Okay, so I've saved that. Now I can go back to the currency and it's already active. But I mentioned that I don't want to deal in euro. The only currencies I want active now are the dollars and the Naira. Okay, these two currencies are the ones we want to make active. So let me go back to the euro and quickly make it inactive. So it's active here. All I need to do is just click on that, put it in edit mode when I'm in this form view, and then I just say it is no longer active, and then click on save. I should now see only the dollars and the Naira as active currency when I go back to my configuration. So let's go there and see. I click on configuration, settings, and then I'm on that page. You can see that in this field now, I actually have just the Naira and the USD. So these are the two currencies that are now active. You can make as many currencies as possible active depending on your kind of business. Okay, so we've achieved something here, but assuming that my default currency is not the USD, it's the Naira. In other words, I can transact in any of these two currencies, but I want to report in Naira. So Naira is then my company currency. So the way to do that and permanently set the company currency to your local currency is to just to click on this field and then say the Naira, for example. So it depends on what your own company currency is. Once I've done that, I then click on apply. Fantastic. So we have now set Naira as the company currency, default company currency. Now you will imagine that this default company currency will have an exchange rate compared to other currencies. So let's say the dollar, for example. As of today, the Naira goes for, I don't know, 414 Naira. Today is the 29th of August. I just read in the papers that it's 414 Naira to the dollars if you are using the black market rate. So I'm just going to assume 400 naira to the dollar. So how do I set this rate? Well, the way to set it is to come to configuration and then go to currencies. And by the way, I need to first set the USD to an exchange rate of 1. Okay, very important. So it is having a rate of 1 here. If I open it, that looks like the only rate you find there. Let's view the rates and see. Yeah, so there's nothing else added. So, but if I go back and I look at the Naira NGN, okay, so it's still showing a rate of 1, but that's not what I want. What I need here is to set a rate that will convert a USD, for example, transaction to Naira. So I'm going to go to view rates, and there is no rate set, so I will create a new rate. As at 29th of August, as I mentioned, the rate was something like 414, but we want to use 400. So I click on 400, or I enter 400, and then I just do save. That means that any transaction from this date will then be converted. A USD transaction, for example, from this date will then be converted to 400 Naira. So that's how to set the exchange rate between your default company currency, which is your local currency, and any other international currency or foreign currency. In this example, the dollars. Now, let's just do one more example, because I want to do the euro now. The way to do that, as I explained earlier on, is to go back to company currency and try to make the euro active. So I'm going to go back to configuration, multi-currency, and then currency. And then I look for the euro. So the euro is currently inactive. So let's make it active for a start. Okay. So it's now active. Now I'm going to set a rate for the euro. And because the dollars, so I come to that and then I click on create. Now because the dollar is already set at 1, and $1 is now looking like 400 Naira, what I need to set here is the cross rate between the dollars, USD, and the euro. And I think as of today, probably that cross rate between the euro and the dollar will be something like, how many euro will make a dollar, for example? How many euro will make a dollar? So let's say, for the sake of argument, that let me just get out my calculator. The cross rate between the euro and the dollar, how many euros make $1? I just found out that this could easily be something like 0.892857, okay, euro for the dollar. So I saved that. So hopefully this should allow me to convert euro to Naira using a cross rate that I've determined between the euro and the dollars, right? That's all we need to do. If you want to manage this particular currency, it says the euro is after the amount. The euro symbol is after the amount, which is really the case. For the Naira, it was the currency symbol before the amount. For the dollars, if you go back to USD, it will be the symbol also before the amount. So that's it for now. You should be able to set up currencies and their rates, and then have your account and your transactions ready to go. See you next time.